Hello, and welcome to our new channel here on YouTube called Living the Country Life. This channel is about all of our adventures here on our 3-acre home site and all the projects we get into. We're by no means experts, and this isn't meant to be an instructional channel. It's more of a laid-back journey of our trials and adventures. We plan to cover things here like our vegetable garden progress, some of the land cleanups we do, and some of the other projects we get into. And I hope that we can get some community feedback on what we're doing right and what we could do better. It was always a dream of mine to have land out in the country since I was a kid. My grandparents had land, and I loved to go out there, and I did work out there on their land, mowing and cleaning up and a lot of little projects, and I really enjoyed it. Brought a lot of, it was fun for me. It's probably not fun for a lot of kids, but it was fun for me, and it was always a dream for me to have a place. And a couple of years ago, we moved out here to this 3-acre property. We have a home here. We've done a few things since we've moved here. We've put a above ground pool in and a shop, metal building that I really enjoy. We've done some gardening. We've put a lot of flowers and plants out, things that we really like. The area that we live in is, we're in North Texas. The region is known, I believe, as the Blackland Prairie region. It has a pretty rich clay soil, but being clay, it's hard to grow things here, at least for an amateur grower like myself. You do see lots of cornfields around. Apparently corn grows fantastic here. You do see a lot of corn out here. I have tried to grow in the soil, and I didn't have much of a success. I don't have a tractor at this time. I do have a small motorized tiller, which is just hard to till this soil up. So because of that, I have planted some raised beds. Last year we had one raised bed. This year we added a second. I'll show those here in this video. I plan to go around a little tour of the property. In the summer, the ground does crack pretty bad when it gets dry. We get big, deep cracks. But in the spring, like we're in now, we get lots of heavy rains. Just the other day, we had a lot of rain, and we also had a hailstorm that beat up the new gardens pretty bad. I had a few other things beat up around the yard. We had some chairs around our fire pit, some of those composite plastic chairs. They got all beat up with holes in them. I'll have to get those replaced now. But other than that, I may have some roof damage I'll have to get replaced, but around the yard, I didn't have too much tree damage. We don't have a lot of trees here, but we have some nice big mature trees, a few of them. I mentioned flowers. We do love to have potted flowers around the porch and the view of the porch. We have some plants out in the yard, some philodendrons that we've been splitting and multiplying over the years, and they're just absolutely grand and beautiful. All of it really brings us a lot of joy to get to sit here and watch. We have a lot of bird life that comes through. We put bird feeders out, and right now I see a rabbit going across the yard. Hope he didn't go to the garden. But, you know, the birds that we see here, we have some cardinals, blue jays, mockingbirds on occasion, and kind of a mix of other birds. Every now and then I hear a hawk and get to see a hawk come by. That's really a treat. So, anyways, that's about it. You know, I'd like to have a chance to take you around, show the yard. It is getting a bit late in the evening, so hopefully you have some good light. But most of all, I hope that you stick around the channel and join us for the journey. I have a lot to learn out here. I could certainly use a lot of advice, and I just want to share this. And so I hope you'll join us in sharing what we have here. So now I'm going to switch cameras and we'll go check out a few things. So I apologize, I am a bit new to this selfie stick, so I'll try my best here. I'm just walking out here to our vegetable garden area. And then let me swap the camera here, if I can figure it out. Okay, so I guess you have to stop the video to swap the camera, at least on my phone. This is our vegetable garden area. This bed here on the right was the bed we put in last year, and it is just really taken off. I've always heard, at least my mother tells me, that the second year is better than the first on your garden. We've got some tomatoes over here, some basil, some onions, cucumbers. I've got 3 or 4 different types of tomatoes coming on. I put in string, I guess it's a string trellis, or I heard it called a Florida weave. So I'm trying that out. And as they grow taller, I'll add another row of the string. I've got some peppers in here. More cucumbers. And I think that's it for this bed. What we did this year is we added a cattle panel trellis in between the 2 beds. And I'm hoping that those cucumbers on both sides will take off over that cattle panel trellis and give us a beautiful vine of cucumbers that we can pick. So we'll see what happens there. This is the new bed, and it's struggling a little bit. I think it needs some fertilizer. I'm gonna go pick some up this week and get this treated. I have some jalapenos, more tomatoes all along the back there. There's an eggplant. I've never grown an eggplant before. We're gonna try that out. And then over here on the back, I have 1 zucchini, which didn't look good at all right now, and 1 yellow squash. These are definitely starving for some food, I believe. They're pretty light. All the rain that we've had, I hope it wasn't too much. And then I did something a little bit different this year. I wanted to plant beans, and we had this old dog kennel that I've never used. I bought it at Tractor Supply. We never really used it. And I thought, why don't we move this out to the garden and plant beans around it? So I've got Kentucky Wonder beans all around this, and I'm hoping that they vine up this dog kennel and make a pleasant addition to the garden. I think there's about 50 plants in here. I probably overdid it. I don't know. We'll see. But we do love to snap green beans. And then we tried something new over here on the side of the shop this year. I tilled up some ground the best I could. I mentioned it was tough, and it is tough. And then we planted some corn. We have about 80 or so corn planted here. This is not sweet corn. This is, I guess we've always called it field corn. Uh, you know, some people call it feed corn, but it's not sweet. We love to eat it. It's also, I guess it's yellow dent is what it's called. So we planted that here, and then might be kind of hard to see. I'll try to get a good view, but all along this fence line here on the inside, I planted pinto beans. So I've got a few pinto beans coming up here along the fence line on the inside, and I'm hoping to get a mess of pinto beans this season. I've never grown pintos, so we'll see how those work out. If you look off there in the distance, we have that back section all the way to that furthest tree line is our property. I mentioned we have some trees. Most of our trees are these cedar trees here. I think they might be junipers. I don't know. I know that I believe that one off in the distance there is a juniper. It's got just millions of those juniper berries on it. These could be maybe a different variety, male. I don't know. But these are beautiful old trees. Here's a cat that comes around. It's not really our cat, but he's taken up with us. We call him Biggin. He's a great little cat. And then my dog Sadie. It's an Australian cattle dog, and she's old, and she's just my best friend. We put a few, might be hard to see, but we put a few fruit trees out here 2 years ago. 2 peach trees and a pear tree. Now out here in what I call our backyard, we have our above ground pool, and we have our potted plants, and this is where we spend most of our time on the porch. So here's the porch. At the first of the video, I was sitting in that chair over there. So we have this beautiful porch with, we have these, I think these are geraniums here. My grandmother loves these, and they're just so bright and beautiful. They're really going crazy right now with all the rain we had and the feed. Here's the thing that bugs me the most about this whole place is they put my septic tank right here off the back of the porch, and I just hate looking at those green lids. So last year I put these plastic whiskey barrels and a rock to cover the green lids and the pipe sticking up, and I planted, I put pots in the middle of those that had some flowers in there, like I think they're vingas or something like that. I'm going to do that again, and I think I'm going to make a video about that. But it just looks so much better than coming out here and looking at these stupid green lids that just make you think, oh, there's a septic tank, which I really hate looking at. Here's something else that we put in last year that's a real joy for my wife. She calls it her gnome garden. So she's got all these little gnome statues. And last year it was full of wildflowers, and this year some of the sunflowers came back up. Or they could have come up because we have our bird feeders right over in this tree. This tree here is, I learned, is it's a type of a mesquite tree. It's called a honey mesquite. It doesn't have any thorns on it, but it is, I guess, known as a trash tree. It's just kind of mangly or gnarly. I don't know what the word would be. It's kind of a cool looking tree though, but it's the center of our backyard, and she's got all these little gnome features that are really neat. And I mentioned we have our bird feeders. They're all empty right now. I've got to put some seed in them, but they're right off the porch. We also have hummingbird feeders scattered around. We have 2 here. And we have them all along the back of the porch there hanging, and we get to enjoy hummingbirds. Right now they're just starting to come in, and it's really neat. I mentioned the philodendrons earlier. We've just got these absolutely beautiful, huge philodendrons. They could easily be split off into more plants. You can see this one here has just got several plants in it. These leaves are just really big. You can see my hand there. We kept some ferns from last year. They need to be fed, but we did keep some. They're coming back. I forget what this is called and this one here, but we've kept those from last year, and they're coming in. 2 years ago, I did put this above ground pool in here, and of course it's just all cattywamped. It's off level. It was really off level the first time I put it in. We drained it and leveled it the best we could, and it was still out of level. So at that point I was like, you know what, we're just gonna live with this, and it's been fine. It's not the most beautiful thing in the yard, but we do get a lot of enjoyment out of it in the summer. Still a little bit too cold right now to enjoy it. I think the temperature is around 68 to 75. I like it to be more like 82 to 85 before I'll get in it. I don't really like the cold water. And then we also built this, let's see if I can get a better shot of it. We put this little deck in. My dad came over and helped. It's a bit of a custom job, but you know what? It's really sturdy, and it serves its purpose. We put a ladder in there and we can get right in the pool. So I'm happy with it. I love it. So one of the things that I get a bit annoyed about here are the fence lines and trying to keep them nice and clean, which is near impossible. We have this cattle panel fencing all along the property. This is the midpoint of the property because we have this back section here too. But we have this one that separates the midpoint, and I have pretty much just give up. I only really clean these fence lines about once or twice a year because it just eats up my weed eater line, and I can't really get into all the grooves of the cattle panel. So this is one of the things that I would love to get some feedback on from the comment section on how to make this, how to clean this up. I do have some things along this fence line, like this blackberry plant, that I want to keep because I want it to grow along the fence line. I have that one, and I've got another one here. They're coming along. So, you know, I like to see a nice clean fence line, but it's really hard to work with this cattle panel. So any ideas, advice, would certainly appreciate it. When we moved here, this oven, brick oven, was here. The family that lived here before us built it, and from what we were told, the grandmother would make bread in here on a weekly basis. I have tried to cook in this thing, and I can never seem to get a fire going. It's one of those things I'd like to be able to figure out one day, and how to cook in it. I do love to cook. I cook outdoors a lot. I cook inside. This thing is just really cool. It's about I don't know, 4 feet tall, 3.5, 4 feet tall. When we moved here, we had this storage shed put in. It was the first thing that came to the house before we even moved in. And next to it is a guest house. Probably the first video after this one is going to be a cleanup video I just made today as a test video for the site or for the channel. And I cleaned up this area back over here on the side of it. And we have some nice flower beds here in front of it. My grandmother loves irises. So we have irises. We had some really nice iris blooms this spring around Easter. I think that's a hosta in there, if I'm not mistaken. There's poppies. And then we have just absolutely amazing rosemary over here on the side. This thing is huge. And the rosemary that it puts off is terrific to cook with. It's really nice. All right, now we're coming up on the back section of the property. And this is this is probably 2 acres on its own. And I haven't quite figured out what I want to do out here at this place. So it's 2 acres. It's really pretty. I haven't mowed it. I'm going to mow it tomorrow. Maybe I'll do a video on that. It takes about an hour to mow it. But it goes all the way back to that far fence line. There's a horse on the other side of that fence. That's not our horse. There's some cars racing down the highway, probably interfering with the audio there. Here's a larger blackberry. This thing I was hoping would vine across the fence line, but it's been here now over 2 years and it hasn't done that. I don't know if we planted it too far from the fence. You can see there's this about a foot gap there. It does have blackberries on it. That white building off there in the distance, we call it the cow house because the previous owners of this property had 2 cattle, I think, here, and they built that for so the cows could get out of the weather. I keep my mower in there right now. But, you know, we've got all this space here. What can I do with it? I don't have a tractor. I can't really plow it up right now. Off in the distance, I don't know if you can see it, but there's 3. There's one over there, one in the middle, one on the end. That's where my septic sprays out. And it sprays about 15 feet out there towards the back end. So I can't plant anything there. So, you know, I'm not sure what to do out here. I would love to have some goats or sheep, but the issue is my fence is not the right fence. I'd have to put a better fence in so they can't get out. So we'll see. So all the way back at the end, it's hard to see here. And those 2 gigantic, those are hackberry trees. They're majestic. They've got to be very old. They're just huge. But off there on the far corner of the property is a pond, and the pond is shared on the fence line. It's shared on the fence line, so I can't do a lot there. I would love to dig it out, make it bigger on our end, but I don't know if that would mess up the pond for our neighbor. And our neighbor has horses, and beautiful horses, and I wouldn't want to mess that up. Up here, back towards the front of the back end, I've just got an absolute mess here I've got to clean up. This fence line is just getting overtaken. So I might make that a video or maybe even a series because it's going to take some time to clean that up. All right, well, that's pretty much our property. There's just so much to do out here, and I really can only work on it on the weekends. My wife and I do work full-time jobs, and you know, I leave for work early in the morning. I get home late in the evening. It's a bit of a long commute, and when you get home, you're just too tired, and it's starting to get dark, so don't get a lot done. In the evenings, maybe watering plants on occasion, you know, so that leaves the weekends for projects. So, anyways, I just wanted to share the property, take a bit of a walking tour, show you what we might get into on this channel. I'm excited. I would love for this channel to grow into something that we might be able to eventually do full time and get to retire from our jobs. You know, that would be a dream. We'll see how that goes. I want to thank everybody for watching. I hope you enjoyed it enough to subscribe to the channel and you liked the video, and I'm going to post more real soon. Thanks a lot.